Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mediak. And as usual, you have Chandler over there, Skylar over there, dressed in the LeBron jersey, and then Zach right down there. No, that's LeBron basketball. I know that stuff. I'm good on that. I'm quick with it. We have a sort of special episode today because we're doing a movie that's actually in theaters. It's been like 6 months since we've done that. I think the last one was Joker 2, so not the best.
No, I think it was.
Yeah. Not the best one to leave off on, but yeah. Big spoilers for Mickey 17 and agenda. After the movie, we usually cover the news for media, and then we go into stuff that we're genuinely watching. It's usually about half and half. But one thing I wanted to say with that specifically is that there's going to be a somewhat spoiler for two things: Daredevil and also the What We Watchin' segment. So those three spoilers, if you're not interested in that, skip ahead or whatever. So I forced you guys to see this. I know Skylar told us last week that Lily was excited because of Robert Pattinson specifically. Well, when did you guys go see it, Chandler? I know when Skylar.
I have a funny story with that actually. Lily never gave me a time that we could go, and then she left. So I was like, Chandler.
Oh, so we both saw it together. There it is. Okay. That answers that question.
And then with this, Chandler had a very funny experience. So we went to the 8:30 showing yesterday night, and the only seats left by time we knew what time we'd be able to go, because obviously Chandler had his professional exam before.
Oh,
yeah. And yeah.
Thank you.
Hopefully.
2 months late. 2 months later, we'll know how I did.
Whatever. But he texted me and said he should be good for 8. So we got, he picked me up, and then we went and we got tickets for it on the way there. The only ones left were the D-box seats.
Oh.
So I got to experience that for the first time too.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Shout
out to him there. There's movie credits.
Oh,
you saved so much money. So thank you for having me.
It was so expensive. It was how much?
20. Wait, okay. Can you guys explain what D-box is? Because I bet there's a lot of people that have never actually gone to a Cinemark out there.
Yeah. So,
and they're new.
D-box seats are like a 4D experience. So it's going to be very niche. Yeah, 4D. If you've ever been to the Bugs Life attraction at Disney World. For those of that, that's the only 4D I've actually also. Anyways, like it's like a little theatrical show, kind of, with animatronics. But when there's bug scenes, like they might crawl, like termites might crawl underneath you, and you'll feel like a massage chair, like a massage underneath your butt. Or you might see like mist, like being sprayed at your face. Now there's no mist at a D-box seats. It's just like the seat rocking around and moving you and whatnot.
Experience.
It was a little weird. It was a little off-putting. We kept it at max.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to mention I like
back.
What? I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah, bro. That's honestly, I was people say, wait, I was actually down on the level. I didn't notice it, and Sky like reached over and pushed it up a bit. He's like, bro, we're putting this to the max. We spent our hard-earned money on this expensive seat. We're gonna enjoy it. So
was this even worth? Like, was there a lot of stuff? No movement. Yeah, this movie's not one of those.
So yeah,
there was not. I don't. Sky. Okay, there was a lot of movement, but I didn't have observed movement. If that makes sense. Like whenever the seat would move, it's like, okay, I guess I'm not used to this, so I wouldn't expect the seat to move when it did. I will say they're the only Sky through the whole experience. How did you feel about the D-box seat? Because there's only one time where I actually thought it worked.
I actually agree. I think there was one time where it worked really well. I'll talk about that in a second. But overall, I didn't hate it. I definitely do not think it's worth the money. It's 100% not worth it.
Not for that.
Well, what did the ticket in total again? $27.
No, it was $21.50 before their fees. With Chandler's 2 things, it costs like $43, and then the movie cuts. I think after everything, it was like we had $16 that we still had to pay. Which having 2 movie credits and still having to pay basically a movie ticket is kind of crazy.
That's so.
But what were the regular ticket prices? Like, what was yours? There's like
I go to AMC. That's the closest one to me, and they were $10.
Okay, so
Cinemark.
I'm gonna say it's around like 10 to 12 but like an additional $9 for that was probably not worth it.
Yeah.
I would say it's standard.
It was at least if it's gonna be like that, I want to watch a feature film, like 3 hour long Endgame. Where the seat moving.
I don't think the seat moving is actually like with a talking movie. What's the point? Like you don't get anything out of it. It has to be an action film because you have to be like shaken and along for the ride and more like that.
Like a suspense or thriller could work, or like a scary movie to like emphasize the jump scares a little bit.
Yeah,
that could listen a little bit better. Like this one wasn't the worst, but like it definitely could have been worse. But I would say if I could go back and change what seat I was in, I think I'd rather sit in a regular, because there was one person on Chandler's left who I think really needed the D-box seats, because I think 30 minutes in, the next hour and 30, and then
that's crazy.
Came back.
What's the point of going to
actually hear her over the movie too?
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was snoring next to Chandler. It was so funny.
That's really sad.
I think in our one too, I think the audio was messed up in the back left at one portion, because I swear I reheard some voice lines that were just previously said. But it was like a 10-second clip.
Dude, Chandler was locked.
It was locked in.
Yeah.
I was what it like unlocked me, because I was like, what is that? Like I looked. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, what about that one? Do we want to talk about that one scene where it actually worked?
Well, I think we should do a recap of the movie first, because we're 6 minutes into the podcast and have talked about 40 seats. Nothing wrong with that. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to volunteer to go, or?
Yeah, I can do my best.
Yeah, let's do this.
So
hell yes.
There's this main character, Mickey Barnes,
my guy,
and he has one friend, and it starts off by saying, did it start off with showing him falling and saying he is going to die?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what's dying like? And then it shows us, well, I think it shows us the little creatures.
It shows the guy coming at him.
Then it goes back and it starts showing about how he got to where he is, and you find out that he got money from a loan shark to open up a macaroon business, saying that he thought it would be more successful than a burger place. Then him not being able to pay it back, they saw what happened to the people who don't pay the loan shark back. He got cut up, and the guy enjoys it.
Massively chopped.
And then they're like, oh, they find anybody on this planet. Let's leave the planet. And they just happen to be launching a colonization off on a different planet. And our main character, Mickey Barnes, signs up for the role of expendable. And he submits his application, and they're like, really? And they're like, did you read the job description?
Doing this shit.
And he's like, yeah, I did, knowing he didn't. And they kept asking him, like, are you sure? Did you read it? Are you sure? This is an extremely hard job. And he's like, yes, I read it. Yes. And then he got distracted by the woman asking him, because he liked the smell of her hair. Finds out that an expendable is a person who is allowed to be reprinted and essentially come back, and they are used for developing science, colonization, anything that would require a testing or somebody might die doing. He is the one who does it, and he's the one who potentially dies. So, fast forward, we see him go through a couple of these tests. His final thing was to take, I'm not sure if YouTube will allow us, but he had to kaboom himself, in a way, to see if he actually trusts the system.
But he never actually... He didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they did.
No, because remember whenever he got his meal for the first time, they said Mickey won. It would have been Mickey 2 if he killed him.
Yeah, I think it was just a test, right?
Did the Minecraft X,
right?
Yeah.
Technically, it couldn't have been Mickey Barnes, Mickey 1.
I don't know. Maybe. She at least to see if he would be scared enough. I think she
First part she pulled the trigger, and
nothing happened. Okay, maybe that was it. Yeah, I think it was just a test.
Yeah, but so you go on from there. We find out more about the space program, what's doing, the person funding it. It is a person who got, was it removed or lost an election?
He lost a couple elections, and he's doing this to try and get back into the good graces of the public eye of humanity.
Yes. And so obviously a ton of his supporters go on this space expedition that he is funding. And then get introduced to a love interest throughout the movie. Is it Natasha?
Nasha.
Nasha. Yes. Sorry. Nasha, who ends up being an elite agent, which is a very, very, very high standard here. They're like the combatants. Yes. And
Not LeBron,
then
like Skylar.
not LeBron,
Evelyn Goat.
just like I'm wearing, not Kelly Oubre on the Suns. And then he goes through a ton of tests the entire way. He's the one helping with their antibodies for certain what is it called whenever you get a shot?
They want to colonize a planet, and they made it so the vaccination that he did.
Vaccination, yes. Helps with their vaccines. He helps with some of their science experiments. He helps with their painkillers. He helps them breathe. Yeah, he does. He explores. He always goes out on the ventures to help.
Yeah, you're right. He's like Luffy. He is art of adventure.
Yeah. And then they find out that the planet they go to after they land has these animals called creepers on them, and they are told that these creepers eat people. And this is after one of the non-expendables dies. And you can visibly see the expendable, Mickey, getting yelled at from the kind of the boss of this expedition, the leader of the expedition.
The president.
Yeah, I'm just going to call him the leader of the expedition, or sexpedition, as he said.
Yeah. No. It's an expedition that leads to a sex position, Skylar. Come on.
Expedition, not sex position.
Sex position.
Very good. That's actually. I was describing this movie to people today, and I was saying it's a sexpedition. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Very funny that me and Chandler went to this movie.
Yeah.
Very funny.
I mean, that's what the movie's about, finding a new planet and then just having a lot of sex and repopulating it, so. And also the plot of the movie revolves around sex positions.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
Which was wild.
I love that it came around at the end.
It was a good callback.
Once Skylar actually gets into the meat of the movie itself.
Yeah, whatever. So, then as they tell Mickey he has to bring back a creeper or find, is it the blood of a creeper? He needs to get a creeper, essentially, and they're not taking him back until he does. He falls, and then this is where the movie re-begins from the very first scene. He falls, told he's going to die. A creeper comes over. It doesn't eat him. It grabs him, drags them through. He gets to see all of the different creepers that are out, and they lift him out of the hole, and he gets to go back to the ship. Shortly after this, he is surprised that he isn't dead. Everybody's surprised he isn't dead. He's very confused on the time that is happening. And then, it's been a while since he was out. And he comes back to see that they had reprinted him, assuming he died. And there is a big law in this society that you are not allowed to have duplicates because of a different incident that happened earlier on.
Which was really I love that.
It was. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, especially when the third one came in. I was like, that's hilarious. That's really smart.
But they find out it's a duplicate. They try not to get caught. Nasha is a freak.
Loves it.
Yeah, it says something. It says a couple things, does a couple things, and
one of the Mickeys goes wacky, crazy.
Yeah, one Mickey is very timid, scared, and kind of like hesitant at making decisions, and one is very bold, upfront, and ready to take action. Hesitant one, Mickey number 17, which is the title aggressive. The 18 is the aggressive one. So a little earlier, there is Mickey sees that he's been reprinted, and he instantly wins a dinner with the leader, and where they said
every single scene. I love you, Skylar, but a little bit faster.
Okay, apologies.
You're good.
Duplicate. They're getting arrested because they're found out they are duplicates. They want to get cut up by their friend from the loan shark, and then they break out of that prison, and then they're getting ready to be permanently deleted. They permanently erase his memories. They send him out because now the creepers are swarming. And then at the end of the movie, Mickey 18 sacrifices himself to kill the leader to please the other creepers so everybody can live. And at the end of the movie, they blow up the reprinting machine and nobody's allowed to reprint anymore.
Yeah. That good recap there, Skylar. What'd you guys think of it? Or memories, like an initial, like, what did you feel right at the end of the movie is the most important thing of what I'm asking right there.
Taking ready.
I felt like my last 2 hours, or I felt satisfied. Let's say that.
Okay.
I felt happy.
I feel like that's a fair reaction, Skylar.
I will agree with Chandler. I was pretty satisfied. I will say I went in, Chandler asked what I expected of this movie before we walked in. I said, Chandler, I don't even know what this movie is about. I really don't even know the name an hour ago. So I went in completely blind, and I was pretty satisfied.
Okay,
Zach?
that's fair. Before I say that, the next thing I'm going to say is not a criticism. It's just an expectation I had. Raise your hand if you expected there to be more than 2 Mickeys throughout this movie, because I definitely did. Whenever I first watched the trailer, I was like, I want there to be like an army at the end.
I went, and I didn't.
No, okay.
This guy actually nothing. Everything.
Yeah.
And like last episode about this, he had forgotten.
Oh,
Selectively forgot.
oh, okay.
No matter what, no trailer, nothing.
Love that. That's good.
So yeah, he had no expectations.
I
had literally zero. If it was a movie, I was going to be...
I wish I had no expectations going into every movie. That would be such an amazing, experience. But
I do my best.
I also did have high expectations going into the movie because I do like Bong Joon-ho's movies. And his last movie was amazing, nearly a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I liked it, is something I'm going to say. I did. But my initial feelings when leaving the movie were pretty disappointed. And I don't mean that in I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to say that. I'm nailing that in. However, one, I was comparing it to Parasite with the writing quality and the way that the story was handled. I thought everything was going to be perfectly tight because it was an adaptation of a book, so it wasn't even like he had to come up with everything himself. I just figured Bong Joon-ho is a king. He knows what he's doing. It's going to be the tightest, most beautiful story ever. And it kind of wasn't, and I'll go into that a little bit more. And that also, the reason why I said spoiler for the end of the podcast and also Daredevil Born Again, specifically the first episode, was because both Daredevil Born Again, Chandler, did you watch it? Okay. No, put it back on. Sorry, I'm going to be vague. I'm just going to say a vague spoiler that if you watched Echo or any trailer for Daredevil Born Again, then you get it. They both cover very similar inspirations, Mickey 17 and Daredevil Born Again Episode 1. And Daredevil Born Again Episode 1 is one of the worst episodes of TV I've ever watched, ever. Flat, no competition at all. And a lot of what goes into it is that they decided to do the most lazy and uninspired and honestly gross version of because both things, obviously, if you've watched either of them, they're very clearly somewhat connected to American politics. That's what everything is related to in both of them. But one of them, I do think, if I forget about Daredevil Born Again, I think that Mickey 17 actually handles it really well in a way that doesn't slap you across the face that it's American politics. If you went into the movie and you didn't think that the main quote unquote villain of the movie is somewhat inspired by Trump, you wouldn't think about it a whole lot. In 10 years down the line, you're not going to realize that. However, Daredevil Born Again fucking grabs you by the head and slams you against a MAGA poster 27 times and then expects you to leave the episode with any sort of opinions. I'm not even saying that it's pro-Republican or pro-Democrat. It's nothing. It doesn't say anything. It just very heavily shows you that it, like, one thing that they say in it is Fisk can fix it. Like, they just have the most uninspired, cliche, gross, like, interpretation of the same exact idea. And I watched that the day before going to see Mickey 17. So it definitely really impacted my viewing of the movie, because like every time they did something Trump related, except for one scene, I just kind of rolled my eyes because I was like, oh my God, I just saw this. Like, I literally just saw this. So I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of those moments. Me and G had a very fun conversation about whether or not they shot the assassination attempt scene before or after the moment in real life, because they're very similar and it would be wild. Also, what is going on right there? That's crazy.
Very right.
Yeah. It looks like there's like fog too. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, anyone who's not watching it.
How old you?
I know, right? It's beautiful. I'm like,
It's a halo. It's a halo effect.
but like, I don't think that the movie. I don't think there were reshoots for this movie, and there's no way that they filmed that late into it. So it just must have been like a really good coincidence that happened like that way.
Yeah,
Especially with the burn mark on his face too, at the end.
that was
of the
like
movie.
first thing Sky and I talked about after. I never caught that reference, like the assassination attempt, like how it pierced. Like
I don't think that was a reference. I think that was separate. I think they filmed.
I still didn't connect two and two
Right,
together. I still didn't see a similar.
Right.
I fell a little short there, but Sky and I, the first thing we said after this was like, "Did you get Trump vibes on that?" I was like, "Yeah, we do, bro."
Yeah, that's
Just the way Mark Ruffalo
talked. Like
he talked and just how his grin was, it was like,
yeah.
I can't mimic it well, but he wasn't actually smiling. He almost looked disgusted when he was smiling.
Yeah.
So
And I think
I thought he did that. Oh,
Yeah. But
actually-
also, I don't think I articulated what I was meaning, like what's good and bad about the connections, because this one handles it well, in which his acting is like the guy. Like Mark Ruffalo embodies him, but the writing is different. Like, you can't say that the wife is somewhat similar to Melania or anything like that, but like everything in Daredevil was somewhat connected to something realistic that happened. And it was so annoying, because it wasn't even like saying one was bad or one was good. It didn't have any message. It just was, look at this. This just happened, guys. This is a reference. It was fucking terrible. On top of the other terrible stuff that happened in that episode. It's horrible. I want to make a video just on how bad that one episode is.
do you remember you told me last week about the news segment that Charlie said that he's not a fan of what they did in the show? Is that what he's referring to, or something else?
Nope.
Damn.
Nope.
That's not even bad.
It's not. And the thing that he's referring to could have been done well, except it wasn't. And it was done arguably the worst way they possibly could have done it. Because not only is there no build up to it, so anyone who is new to the series is not going to have any emotional impact at all. And they're trying to... Okay, we're talking about Mickey 17. We can't do this. I'll save this for the end. I'll talk more about Daredevil at the very end. Mickey 17 handles it really well. And I honestly think the best scene that's like related to that character, the Marshall, is the dinner scene. Love it. Best scene in the entire movie to me. Because obviously Mickey is like downing that shit because he hasn't eaten in like 30 hours. So he's absolutely decimating that meat. The lady comes in and is clearly having like a moment. And this character who doesn't have morals is like, I don't know what to do in this situation. Someone's crying in front of me. So then he starts religiously singing. And I started dying at that moment. I was like, this is awesome. Because I could totally see how someone who lacks all like empathy could see that this could be something that would help the situation. Because in his mind, he's like praying away the sadness while she's just crying as her friend is dead. And it's such a horrific moment that leads into Mickey having a problem, which that little bit there right after the problem isn't like crazy. But when Mickey stands up and then runs around the room, falls over, hits the floor, and then the Trump guy goes over. Sorry, I'll say Marshall because he's not actually like fully Trump. There's just like some sort of connections to him. When he puts his hand in front of it and she says, no, don't do it. He looks up with her at her with like the most confused expression ever. The best acting I've ever seen Mark Ruffalo doing, because he's like, wait, why shouldn't I kill this guy? And then it's so funny to me. I really like that scene. Best scene in the movie to me.
Yeah, that was very entertaining. Kai was freaking out like, what's going on? Yeah, I thought we were here just for dinner. Why are you gonna cap this guy?
It's where the writing and the acting peaked for me, in my opinion.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
I think Mark did such a great job at playing the antagonist.
Mhm.
He made me really hate him.
Oh yeah, big.
Truly. He just played it so
Like
well.
8 minutes straight there. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, it's chill. It's chill. And even whenever he would he was definitely being manipulated multiple times by like his wife,
Everybody else.
Elon Musk
guys.
the little thing to.
Yeah. Oh man, there are so many similarities. Damn. I just thought it was really good. I can't say many bad things. I do have some back to the film. I also might have two. Wait, let me check.
I think
You want to give yours first?
the two things that really stood out to me as big problems with the movie were the end. I thought the end was pretty bad, like really bad. I thought it was super rushed. That they had the big moment, which is fine. I liked the big moment at the end where everything happened, where Mickey did his sacrifice and all that. But then in the course of the next 2 minutes, they flashed forward into the future where she was now president, then flashed back and explained what was happening in the situation. And then they said that everyone was fighting, and then they weren't. And everyone supported each other and agreed to vote on the girl. What? Like, there's so much happened all in that moment to try and rush the end of the story to get it into a conclusive section that it made me, like, really upset, actually. And I know I shouldn't be upset over something like that, but it was such a wasted moment for such a really well-written plot for the most part. Like, I felt like all the clone stuff and all the politics stuff was actually handled really well throughout the rest of the movie. But then the second they were like, yeah, and then all of the pro-marshals and the anti-marshals started fighting each other, and everyone was mad, and it was terrible. Oh, but then it was fine, and everyone voted for the girl all together. Everyone together united and voted for that girl all at one moment, and it was okay. And it was actually really great. Like in that,
I
for 1 second.
Yeah. I think they could have spent like an extra 30 minutes, made this movie closer to 3. It still would have felt fine, and it would have felt more thorough as an ending.
Yeah, it was. Can we talk about that? Breakneck pace. I thought the movie.
Yeah, it was. It was very
kind of
fast.
snapped.
The rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was a super fast movie. And I honestly wouldn't have minded an extra 30 minutes. It was 2 hours 20, right? Am I wrong about that?
Like the people, or maybe like
It was 12.
Yeah, maybe like 2:17.
Regardless, it was an over 2 hour movie that felt like an hour, and I think it would have benefited a little bit from just having like maybe 20 to 30 more minutes just to make the end feel more conclusive and meaningful, because it was a political movie by heart. Like that's what the movie's about. It is a comedy, but it's about politics. So having some sort of conclusion to like the actual overarching story would have been amazing.
It was 2:17, so basically 2:20.
Yeah.
It definitely could have been a 2:40 or 2:50 movie, and I would have felt like it probably would have gotten a higher score.
Yeah.
Assuming they did what we said.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Would the movie like have been so entertaining after the whole climax?
I
Well, battle might have been. The fight for power probably would have been.
I just feel like who's supporting the marshal? I feel like it's just like a bunch of nobodies. Like,
But they showed how many people supported him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if we're being honest, like
we did.
I'm going to bring up a pretty big example, okay? And I apologize for mentioning it. Shock warning if you don't like World War II history, skip ahead 30 seconds. But after Hitler killed himself, there still was a war. It wasn't like everyone just was like, oh, okay, I was wrong. Gonna stop now. And so, like, even after Marshall is dead, there's still going to be people that want to bring someone like Marshall into power. It would have been interesting to see how there was some sort of reaction to, like, each side of it, like the Mickey side, the Nasha side and the Marshall side, and how they argued and how they ended up to the point, or at least having a singular scene where Nasha got in front of everyone and explained why the program was bad and why he was a bad guy, and at least like convinced people to doing it, instead of having my second big problem with the movie, the narration come over top and say, and then everyone liked Nasha, and that was the end of the movie. You know?
You didn't like the narration?
Hated it. Well, lie. I liked it in parts because I thought it was interesting how sometimes it was what Mickey was thinking, but then I hated how sometimes it was, let's explain what is happening in the moment to the child. Like the biggest, I thought the narration was the worst at the end of the movie, but I already talked about the end of the movie. Towards the beginning of the movie, I thought that some of the narration was done just to make it so that people were already caught up on what was going on before it happened. Like right after Mickey 17 got knocked out by Mickey 18, the first thing the narration said was, man, this guy is a terrible guy, or he's an asshole. You had 3 sentences with him. You don't know his personality yet. You stood up, said, you're weird, and then he said, no, you're weird, and then you ran away, he hit you in the back of the head, and then you woke up. You don't know that he's a bad guy.
Well, I mean, he was trying to threaten to kill him, though. He was like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, but Mickey thought the same thing, too. In the narration, he was like, oh, should we kill him? Should I kill this guy?
But at least he was, like, thinking about it.
No.
Mickey 18 already committed to it.
I think that was a poorly placed ADR. I think that would have made more sense with him walking back after seeing Mickey 17 attempt to kill Stephen Ewing. I think that would have made more sense there, because then he would have actually got a grasp of this guy's personality.
I didn't think.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get that? Remember the moment where he was like climbing down the cargo and he was like, get the fuck off me. I heard Mark there. I was like, that's Mr. Mark Invincible.
I see it now, because I just totally forgot that was Invincible. You just saying his name, his actual name, Steven.
That's funny.
Or whatever. Rung the bell. To be frank, I never had an issue with the narration. I just knew, whenever it first started, I was like, this is so much better than Free Guy.
Yes.
I like it. And I just didn't have a problem with it.
That's fair.
I was the very end. Like, I know you said it was rushed, but I'm trying to rationalize. I don't know if I would have liked to stick around for another 20, 30 minutes after that. That's how it ended.
You.
I just don't see how it could have been 20, 30 minutes longer.
Oh, I was going to say, part of it could have also been that we saw a night movie instead of like a day. So like,
okay, yeah, I was so tired. Both of us were very tired after that. And I had taken that 3.5 hour exam in front of the screen. So I was to spend maybe on a different day.
That's valid.
But I still just don't. I'm just trying to think. I just don't know if I can see another 20 or 30 minutes of them trying to battle it out, duke it out. Because it's like, who are the big names that would be vouching for?
It's nice to see how she won them over.
The Elon Musk guy, he wasn't dead.
But it's just him.
It doesn't matter. But like, the story wasn't over. The story wasn't over at all. They literally concluded the story in a minute.
It's like aftermath in it.
Yes,
but I think if anything, I'm not too picky about it getting.
Okay,
left.
That's fair. I'm gonna give context to why I feel so heavily about that. Bong Joon-ho is an amazing writer. You need to watch Parasite or at least Snowpiercer, because his movies are like they're good. Like, I'm just going to conclude it like that and not do anything pretentious. They're good, solid movies. They're not just some action movie. And, like, the end of this movie felt like some action movie.
It did.
Yeah.
Feel it kind of...
And that's basically, I felt like my initial disappointment with it right off the bat. Even though I really liked the movie overall, I thought the movie was fucking hilarious. Like, there were multiple times
it was
I laughed out loud. Like, it was really great.
Oh, yeah.
Aspect. I
that was pretty.
I love Nasha, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Her outburst against Marshall was peak.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved that she was just giving, like, she wasn't taking shit for anything, or wasn't gonna let Mickey get like finessed or whatever. I really appreciated how loyal she was. Well, at first I didn't like what she did whenever both Mickeys were in the same room. I didn't like that at all.
And that's from Zach. The no. Wait, I was gonna say Zach, the no sex guy. That doesn't. That's weird. Like, I don't like sex in my movies at all, but I felt like the movie handled it super well in this. Like, they didn't show anything. They didn't really show anything. They talked about it as a joke the entire time, and then they had the little drawings of it that became relevant at the end of the movie.
Something.
Oh, they barely showed it. They just showed it in her hand going down his pants at one point.
There's something in the beginning whenever he was talking about the sex.
Yeah, but like barely for like 2 seconds. And it didn't actually like show it. He had her hand.
What prompted that? They just met each other in the cafeteria. He's still giving a speech. and they're just off having sex. He
was going back and forth to what was happening right then and what was happening directly after that moment.
Oh,
he was like, no one is allowed to have sex ever, and they're like, that's what we're gonna immediately go do.
Okay, I felt like it was a little like unnecessary. I do think my only gripe with the movie is the sex, the abundance of it, but I think it's handled perfectly and it's actually relevant. Like you said,
yeah,
how they have a callback towards the very end because of the sex positions. And also just like, what are you going to do on an isolated spaceship for 4 years?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I
waste calories, Chandler. Come on. What the hell?
Yeah, waste calories.
Talk about that was funny.
So fun.
I did think about that.
It also, I really liked Nasha's line where she was like, come on, you would love it if there were 2 of me. That was so...
Yeah, that one was funny.
Yeah. I was like, that makes sense. That actually kind of brought me into that scene. I was like, you know what? Sure. Whatever.
I swear this actually happened. They kept talking about calories, and before that, me and Chandler were talking about calories.
That's great.
Like, I kid you not, we were talking about counting calories, how calories work, and everything like that. And then they went in talking about, okay, well, we have a certain calorie limit. You can't do this because it burns too many calories. And I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way right now. But I thought the note page they had was pretty funny how it was animated.
Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, we just forgot when I was like, oh, that's what I do. Yeah.
What do you guys think about the alien creatures?
I liked them.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like how they were smart, but I don't know how I felt about like the
killing.
No.
Making your brain
translation. Like being like they were able to communicate so quickly. I know it's like in advance. They have a spaceship and they can clone, so I understand that their technology is kind of up there. But like, he was just making noises, random noises. How's that able to communicate? How's he actually able to communicate with like that? And then
I don't know.
I make a translator. Like I didn't like that. I thought that was like that they lost me a little.
I was able to suspend my disbelief for that a tiny bit just because of the fact that they're taking lava and shit and turning that into people.
Yeah. Let's not ignore the fact that our main character is like 70%. There's a good chance he's a good portion of shit.
Yeah, he's like 95% shit, 5%
purpose shit,
water,
and food scraps. Don't forget about that.
So yeah. I think I'm able to separate the two just a tiny.
Yeah, I guess if they can do that to a person, I guess I can accept the fact that their translators might be pretty good.
Also, it was so funny whenever he was printing out and it would be like,
yeah, or when he was falling over.
So,
yeah,
with the D-box seats, each print had movement. And every time he was printed, we'd go.
Was that the one moment that you said was good?
No,
okay.
Not for me.
Let's hear it. Okay, let's hear it. Wait. Skylar did the movie description, so he gets to go first.
Okay.
Was it? I thought mine was at the very beginning, whenever he was like falling through. I kind of felt like I was falling with him.
Okay.
And because like it hit, and then I would move, and then if he would hit, and I would move. So I thought it was like that. And then whenever he hit the bottom, he shuffled a little bit. I shuffled a little bit. Yeah.
And then it was all downhill from there.
No, because it happened twice.
Hey,
so technically, it went down and then kind of came back up, and then back down again. But
on the Shakespeare plot,
that's great.
But like they weren't bad. Most of like the movement scenes were pretty decent for me because the movement felt pretty accurate. And whenever the camera would turn, like I would turn kind of too. So what's that? Chandler?
Mine's at the very end of the movie, actually.
Oh.
It's whenever Marshall gets clocked, the whole chair actually moved in sync. Like, I felt the punch.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that was it. It was just short. Very, very quick and simple. But, like, I actually felt it. That was the only time I really liked the chair. I was most immersed then, I guess. And he deserved that so badly.
Oh, big time.
Mickey 18, I hated the guy. Dude. I absolutely hated Mickey 18 because of how aggressive he was. I
like Mickey 18
until very end.
I told Mickey 18 the entire time. He was my favorite character.
I didn't like how aggressive he was. Like how he actually wanted to kill everyone. Like I just didn't.
I thought that was so funny, dude.
He wanted to actually almost. I guess people deserved it. Like Invincible, he deserved to kind of die.
Yeah,
but I didn't like him doing it still.
Dude, I did not know where the plot was going to go at all during the movie, but at no point did I actually think he was going to assassinate, like, attempt to... Like, whenever he said that, I was like, okay, that's really funny. I can't wait for Kai to get back, and then they have drama about sex. But nope, he just went at it. He was like, I'm going, and he just started going at it. And I was like, this is my kind of guy right here. I love this guy. He gets shit done.
Actually, you have a good point, because he went from hating this guy to being like, he treated you like this? He's like, no way, he treated us. Yeah, very on accident to go kill him. He's like, I'm gonna go kill the other guy like a bitch. And he's like, and Mickey 17 was like, yeah, I guess I kind of am. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna go do it myself. Kill this guy.
And I was like, that the fun went to shit after that. So fun, really fun.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was chaotic. It was so unexpected.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I was kind of thinking like, what was the whole point of the movie? Whenever they first landed on the new planet, I was like, okay, now they're trying to colonize it.
Yeah, I was like, we're
and whatnot. Like, where are we gonna go with this? How's this plot
Rarely
expand? But what was I gonna say? Oh, how their personality is so different. I kind of theorized that you remember when we first talked about multiples, like the guy with the scientist who had like 3 of them, and how one was an actual murderer, like psychotic. Is it because I just assume that if a multiple is still alive as one's being printed, some error occurs?
I assumed it was based off of whatever their current, like, experiences. Yeah, it's the current feeling, yeah, essentially. Like, Mickey 18 didn't really experience anything bad. The first thing he experienced was the disappointment of the fact that he's going to be killed because there is a multiple, and his first feeling was, I need to kill this guy to survive. So then he just was all murder hungry the entire rest of the movie. While Mickey 17, his whole thing was just falling down in a cave and being by himself and sad and alone and thinking about the fact that he's died so many times and made him sad. That's how
Mickey 17 feels like.
I'm kind of thinking as it was like an imperfect print.
That works.
Like sometimes certain, because it's not like they got everything right the first time. Like that, the vaccine took multiple times, and they would probably like, it was good enough. It was like
it was only 9% poop and 5% water and 5% lava. Like, it was just different combination of material.
The ratio was off. Then you made more shit, less lava.
Exactly.
It happens.
Mickey 17 was just a little bit too much shit.
Yeah, like he was like probably 97.
Yeah,
so like he was a little too emotional.
Exactly.
But I just took it as like a error just because they had a lot of others, and he kept saying like, learn from your lessons, learn from your lessons, learn from your lessons. But I'm assuming they were like, it's a reprint. It's like the same person. His personality's
so you could go with the idea that they're completely and totally different people, because there was the idea that's one of the things that
what caught up in
the movie. Yeah, exactly, Skylar. Yeah, where they were like, is it moral because it's literally just a different guy? Maybe he might have the same memories as him, but the previous one is still dead. So like, it's just a completely and totally different human.
Yeah, like what separates them from like twins or identical copies?
Exactly. Yeah.
I do want to ask, Zach, I know you said yours, but what was everybody's favorite scene in the movie? And Zach, if you want to say yours again, you can, or you can say another scene that you liked.
Another scene I liked. I liked. Okay, this is fucked up, and I'm sorry about that. The scene that like shocked me the most was whenever the wife cut up the tail. I was like, fuck. Like, I thought she was really intense with her sauce, but the second she did that, I was like, oh, Jesus. What?
Why she is like so focused on sauce? What was her?
Crazy. Dude, she's insane.
Yeah, I know she was like, I actually wrote, one of my notes was, what's her deal with sauce? Like, why? Like,
she likes it.
I just don't get it. I know they talked about it at the dinner. They talked about sauce to some degree.
Yeah.
But like, why is she such a fanatic?
Because she's crazy.
You know, she blended his tail into sauce.
Oh.
You're right. She's actually chaotic.
Yeah.
Psychotic.
She's crazy. Then she had a guy taste it.
Yeah. Multiple.
It was on camera.
No, yeah, she did it. You would. Chandler?
Yeah, Chandler, what was your favorite scene? Not the sauce.
Maybe Mark Ruffalo getting the shit kicked out of him. No, not that.
I love that, yeah.
What did I like? Maybe I thought that like the sexpedition was funny when they're talking about when he was at the cafeteria. I thought that was really funny, just getting to see him for the first time. Like, yeah, something we get to look forward to. I do agree that your dinner scene was really fun. What else?
I just thought it was like there's a lot to like about that scene.
No, there a lot happened. And that's very well acted.
I was gonna say it's well written, but a lot of the movie is well written.
I don't know. I'll go with the sexpedition part, but I'm not.
Sexpedition scene minus the actual sex parts.
Yes. Yes. So I understand why it's in the movie, and I think it's done well.
Done better than
It's not in a cup of tea. You're right.
Because like I don't look back on this movie and I think that it's about sex, but I look back at Creature Commandos and think that was about sex, even though it was only in the first 2 episodes. You know?
But why did Kai kind of like pressure Mickey when she was asking if he was open? Was she just like grieving? Was that just her way of grieving? She didn't know what to do, and she was like, "All right, I'm just gonna have some me time."
I'd say a mix of that and her being into Mickey. Because they showed that.
I think she was actually into Mickey. Because earlier she gave him food.
Yeah, and she like tried to mosey up into him.
Yeah, and then
Got
Asha
jealous, whatever.
forcibly turned her away.
Yeah, exactly.
I also wasn't sure if it was just because they're incredibly horny because they're on isolated ship.
And also they were supposed to have sex over 4 years.
Yeah,
Just listen to that, bro.
Yeah, let's just be honest here. No one's actually doing that.
I think they insinuated that they did like right before they said that.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were.
Enough oxy stuff around. If that's getting everywhere, like how, and that's like not really. That's like not being controlled.
I didn't think that was super. I know that wasn't like supposed to be a big focus of the plot, but I also don't think they explored that a lot.
Yeah,
They brought it. It felt like a pretty unnecessary part. Like crazy that almost 50 minutes into the podcast we're bringing it up for the very first time. Like that's how back in the plot it was. Yeah. I only really have one more thing I want to say about the movie, and then I'm about ready to move on. And unless you guys have more things to say, but
I do have a couple of things.
no worries.
I have
Are yours positives or negatives?
I would like to say my favorite scene.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Skylar. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think I really liked there's like 2 that kind of like stuck out. I liked the one where they were like fighting each other, but also like at the same time trying not to get caught. So it was like half fight, half hide. And then the portion when Mickey 17 was like, wait, those creepers actually saved me. Like, they don't hate me. They don't want to eat me. And like the slow realization, I feel like you could see it on his face really well. So I think it was just.
I thought that too. I actually did
good asking.
I love those creatures. They're so cool.
They were so cool.
I think it was real that he would realize that they're saving him because he's such
because he's like used to die.
guy.
Like he doesn't realize that he doesn't die.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm just too gross. And everyone else said that to him too. They were like, it's just because he's gross.
And then the second is a headcanon that I had made myself. Mark Ruffalo plays Hulk, correct?
Yes.
I like to believe that whenever he was going out, he could have hulked out and tried to fight them himself.
No, he did.
I would like that.
This is just a future
Hulk out.
version of Bruce Banner. Yeah. He changed his name. Ran for president.
Your management classes. He leans more to his peers to help him so he doesn't get angry. Yes, and he could have hulked out at the end, but he chose not to because he's better now.
Yeah, because he's
yeah. So
and rather
that
he
is
signed.
and the Hulk realized that too. So whenever he died, he didn't actually bring him back to life. He just kind of stayed dead.
yes. So that was my favorite headcanon.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
And then I'll just say one more positive I had is I think Mickey 18 like a fantastic ending.
Yes.
Because it was like the entire time he was like super bold. He showed he wasn't really scared of anything. And then it showed that he was still scared to die. He's like, yeah, of course I'm scared to die. And then he like called to the creepers. He's like 1 for 1, right? And then hit the button himself and like got himself to go up. It, like essentially saving everybody. And then it kind of led to Mickey 17 being like, okay, what would 18 do? And he's like working on himself. So I think that was like a good like side thing, like a little side plot, I guess. It was just like Mickey 17's like development into being more bold and less like push aroundy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that character. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
I
I have a
I
negative.
didn't like Mickey.
My last thing is a negative, do you want to do positives first? I'm guessing you're going to say positive things about them.
Yes, I do have a couple. Yeah,
I do a negative.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Do a negative and a positive because we've been doing a lot of positives.
I said I didn't like Mickey 18 at first, but I think he truly, like in my eyes, he redeemed himself, and I do like him now as a character. But at first, really hate his guts.
Fair. Yeah.
But actually, I'm going to change my favorite scene. Actually, I've thought about it. My favorite scene is whenever the marshal is rushing out to go have a one-on-one confrontation. He's going to have the whole speech, like that whole ordeal. But what I loved is whenever the creatures realized what was happening and they were getting a little defensive and they started like rolling around like armadillo.
Yeah.
And trying to confuse where like the actual queen was. I thought that was so smart.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. These species are so intelligent. I don't know.
Defensive maneuvers.
Sorry?
I said defensive maneuvers.
Yeah. It was so cool. It was so cool. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Like that's seeing them out there was like, is this kind of what Helldivers 2 looks like a little bit?
In a way.
Okay. Because I've seen some clips from Helldivers 2 and I thought these creatures look a little bit like it. Or maybe I was
no, the creatures don't really look like the creatures from Helldivers 2, but like the amount of them, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that's what it was giving me flashbacks of. So I don't know. I just really like that. I really like that concept of how many, like the horde of them that there were. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But
anything else?
Other good things. Popping that pimple, bro, was wild. Do you know what I'm talking about? So you want to get
you didn't like
pimple? That was crazy. That made my skin.
I like that detail because it was like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you like the mix that all immediately followed?
Like disgusting. Like I wouldn't. I
Did you like the joke immediately after he's like, "I'm glad you didn't see the one in my ass"?
Oh yeah, I did actually. That was one of the narrated moments that I was like, that's funny because that's probably what he was exactly thinking in that moment. So I like, yeah. So that was
why. Oh, I actually did have an audible gasp. I actually gasped during the movie whenever Marshall's wife slit the guy's wrist and the baby was dropped.
I gasped too.
That's exactly what
the point where the guy was hooking the baby, G actually had to look away from the movie.
It was so sad. It was so sad. I told Sky this. I imagine that baby as Scout because it just was the same as a Scout.
Yeah, but something to
tail. It just made me so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I love that dog. I'd do anything for her.
Yeah, the Scout and the Creepers had the same shell. I could easily see the resemblance.
She's so cute.
They're both tanks.
They're both tanks. Yeah, right.
So true.
I think I had one more. Sorry, real quick. One more. Okay, this is actually a minor gripe.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
Like, not a complaint, but why did they never cover that pit of lava, the trash?
I think they just didn't.
I feel like that's a hazard. That's a big ass hazard. Let's be real.
I feel like most of that was a big hazard, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole trip was a hazard. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's an exhibition in space. That's no problem. But I just like put a latch on it, bro. Like, why is it?
Like have like a lever that opens it up.
Yeah, that's something. So someone can't just like get pushed in there.
So, well,
unless
that's usually I think that's usually the goal. Is
to push Mickey
you in. Yeah. So opening up a hatch every time. Yeah, I feel like most of them are like, hasn't been trying this much time.
Or like, what if whenever he was actually still alive, but they're like, whatever.
Whenever he's in the bag and he's swimming.
That was funny, actually.
That was crazy how insensitive they.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it morally, but it's okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
In any other context than just really goofy.
Okay. The final thing I was going to say about the movie is that cinematically, I don't think it was crazy. Like, I don't think it was bad. You understood everything. Everything was visually there. But, like, I can't remember a single thing that I was like, that's a really cool shot. Not a single moment throughout the movie, which was really disappointing to me. Again, because, like, I don't know. I remember several shots in Parasite, and even a handful from Snowpiercer, even though I feel bad that there's only 2 movies of his I'm bringing up, but honestly, there's only 2 I can remember well, and I've watched within the last year and a half. Sorry. But, yeah, it wasn't it was kind of disappointing cinematically. Oh, the music was amazing. I loved the music. I thought the classical music-esque feel of it was really great to me. Really enjoyed that, especially with like the comedy.
What do you think of like the CGI?
It bounced. It went back and forth.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When they showed the baby scene coming out of that rock,
Yeah.
it definitely looked like they just kind of copy and pasted it a little bit, but it still looked very realistic. It was, you could just tell like it just actually wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the actual creatures whenever they were out on the planet, I'm sure a lot of that was practical effects because that looked really good.
Some of it, yeah.
Except for the whole horde. I understand the whole horde had to be CGI'd. But yeah, I didn't think it was really that bad.
It wasn't terrible, yeah. Ready for numbers now? Who wants to go first? Skylar.
Yeah, you know what? Just keep it going.
You talk. The Mediakers.
Yeah, yes. So I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. I've been thinking about it since I left the theater, and I kept bouncing between an 8, an 8.5, and a 9, and I kept going back and forth on it like the entire day because I was like, if I try to how highly would I recommend this movie to somebody else? And I just don't know how highly I could recommend this to some people.
Yeah.
Just because like I think it's a very not like niche audience, but it's niche to the point where I don't think this movie could just be widely accepted by everybody. Yeah, like this movie definitely misses the mark. Clearly it missed the mark for the person next to Chandler. So like there has to be other people.
I've seen some people hate this movie. Not dislike it. I've seen some people say
because the impressionist.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked into what
it's just some people hating it for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some that just don't like the concept at all. There's probably some that are just like off put by certain scenes. Like you were upset over the creeper getting hurt. I'm sure other people were as well. That was probably a major turn off for a lot of people. But I'm sure there was some political issues that people had with the movie. You're going to have that. If you make a political movie, you're going to have political people who
especially
like it.
Just pause. Some people are just going to be petty, bro, and they're just going to hate it to hate it.
Some people might not have enjoyed all of the acting in it. Like, I mean, overall, I thought it was pretty good, but I really felt like Mark Ruffalo and Robert Pattinson carried the acting. Like, they were like 99% of it.
His accent was so un-Batman.
Yeah,
it was.
I loved his
accent. It was crazy. I don't know how he did that, but
ain't nothing there. Was there like a voice filter or something, bro?
That's his kid. I think it was real. I think he's just a really good voice actor.
But there were a lot of things that I liked about the movie, but I took away points for the ending being a little lackluster, and there was again, I'm not a huge sex scenes in movie person. Like, I usually never see a good point for them. So I took away from that just because that's just not something I want to see, if I'm being completely honest. And that's kind of nitpicky, but this is my opinion.
Valid.
Yeah. But overall there were a lot more good than bad. And I would consider rewatching this movie in a month or something, just to see little details I might not have picked up.
That's fair.
But Chandler.
Buddy up top.
Yeah, so I actually talked about this movie to a lot of people. Only compliments from it. I didn't have to consider my number. I didn't have to reflect. I usually don't reflect on my number actually until this podcast, because sometimes you guys will bring up things that I just overlooked.
Right.
But I'm going to keep that at 9. I thought this movie was stellar. I loved every bit of it for the most part. Yeah.
That's the end of his.
Round us out.
I liked it. I thought whenever I left the theater, and me and G were talking about it, the first thing I said was I liked 80% of this movie. Like, there were 80% of this movie I was super into and I really enjoyed, but then 20% of it I was really not into. And that's the end, certain bits of the narration, some of the beginning bits. Cinematography wasn't there. Music was really fire. But at the end of the day, I think I rounded out to getting my number around a 7. And I still really liked the movie. I loved it. But I just was slightly disappointed because I don't think it was up to the same writing quality that Bong Joon-ho usually sits at. I'm not saying it was bad. It was really great. It was really funny. I just wish that the main plot, the main like focus of it was handled a little bit better because I don't feel like it was wrapped up well because they brought up all these interesting points and then at the end of the movie just was like, oh, it's happy, it's over. So that was like my biggest kind of gripe on it.
Did you have I forget if we even mentioned this. Did you have a gripe with like not the end credit scene, but the very, very, very end scene where he talks about his dreams and we see reprinting?
I like that.
Of the last.
I was confused a little bit, but then I knew she was dead. And how also was she so well dressed if she's actually hiding? Let's say she was reprinting herself. How is she actually clothed and like hair's all prepped? Something was off.
I was
definitely.
Good.
That's it.
I like the interpretativeness of it. I think that's like the only scene post Mickey 17 exploding that I like actually enjoyed. I just wish it was not thrown randomly in the middle of the montage of everything going on. Like, you know?
The placement was weird. I feel like it should have happened before the montage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Trippy.
I agree.
I honestly don't think we should have flashed forward to the parade scene. Like, I think if they were going to montage the ending, show us it in order. You know, I felt like the amount of bouncing back was just really rough.
But wasn't it to show like him like dazing off?
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
I guess that.
Because it did mention that his like dreams.
Yeah. And it doesn't scare him more because he's like Mickey 18.
That guy in the chicken costume was so funny.
Yeah.
I agree.
He was like, hey, Jen, do I stand up or do I sit down and press the button?
Because I didn't want fun.
I couldn't fucking care less for what he said. It was so good.
Okay. You know, ironically, out of the 2 episodes we've done the agenda for, out of probably over 100 episodes of Mediak, we actually don't really have all that much movie news or media news this time around. We have 3 things. One of them quite interesting. 2 of them quite interesting. One of them not. I honestly don't even know if it's media related. I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's fun. So that I'm going to do that one first. So apparently, in scientists' journey to clone and bring back the woolly mammoth, they've actually created a new species of mice called woolly mice.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah, this is what they.
What?
Wait, give me a second. Do I have to raise my brightness or drop the brightness on my phone?
Drop. Yeah.
It's hard.
Oh, wow. Those little guys. Those are fluffy.
Fluffy little guys.
I wonder if they have the same bacteria, the big area around as regular mice. Like, I wonder if they're like safer because the extra wool that they have, or more dangerous because the extra wool they have.
I don't. I know that their metabolism is faster.
Or I know.
Yeah.
The fact is they're more dangerous or not.
Yeah.
I need to look into this.
Wait, that is crazy. Okay. Next bit of news is that you guys have probably seen it because the trailers are all over the place. We have a confirmed release date for the first Demon Slayer movie.
September 12th or something.
Yeah, September 12th. Dude, you had it on lock. Did not even need to look at the notes at all. The trailer doesn't show anything.
It's not like an hour before.
That's fair. The trailer doesn't show anything of the movie at all. The only thing it shows is just the final scene of the cheese.
Yeah, I saw the explosion picture with the text.
Glowing.
You are. You're fine. You can say where you're at.
Yeah, we gotta. I guess we can't record in the afternoon anymore. We just have to do it at night.
Yeah, or to get a blind.
Yeah, blinds. It's going through it.
Get blackout curtains.
Yeah, I might. Curtains, but
I saw the text with that saying it was September 12th, and I mean I think that's really good. That's a good time.
Yep.
Honestly, and because I think it allows most people to catch up if they haven't, to be ready, and I like where it left off too. So I think the zoo can pick up at a really good point, and it left off with a really spoiler. It left off with a really nice explosion. One of the most satisfying explosions I've ever seen.
I actually thought it looked really CG, but everything else about that scene was really great. Like it
was really good. I like the look of the explosion. It looked really good to me.
That's fair. It reminded me of Attack on Titan.
My one piece of news is music based. The rapper Playboi Carti has to drop an album by like the 14th, or he has to refund everybody who's bought merch and tickets for his concert because he would not have met his deadline.
What is that?
He hasn't dropped. He made like I think I'm not like super into it, but I think he made a tour, had pre-sale tickets. He had it, and they've been waiting for the tour to start because the music hasn't started yet. So the tour keeps getting pushed back, and now it's to the point where like it's like been too long since he's actually dropped the album to where he would have to give a refund to everybody who's bought it and bought merch for it. So unless he drops the album, but it's supposed to drop the 14th, which is like the night that it has to be dropped, or he has to refund everybody.
Interesting.
But that would be like $70 million that he had to refund.
Sounds like turning in the assignment at 11:59 p.m.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Literally.
Exactly. It's exactly what it sounds like. But it's just heavily rumored. So he very well just
You never know.
we'll find out.
Chandler, do you have any news?
Sadly, I do not.
Wow, Chandler.
Baseball.
The podcast. Crazy.
What the hell?
Vegas.
Like how the Lakers did the One Piece collaboration, baseball, MLB as a whole did a collaborate. Isn't it MLB as a whole?
Here.
What? Yeah.
The Demon Slayer.
Oh, yeah, which is sick. It was really cool. Look,
That's cool.
yeah.
So,
But Tim did it versus just MLB.
it was like the best players in the. It was just the better players in the league. They should show Shohei Ohtani getting a breathing
That
technique.
was so cool. That was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It was like batting, breathing. It was awesome.
And then I don't have any other news. I'm gonna go first on what we watching. Sorry for being
Zach, what have you been watching?
Dude, sorry for jumping the gun. I just want to talk about Daredevil. Watching Castlevania, almost done with season 2. I have to sneeze. I'm gonna keep going until I do it. Played a little bit of Rivals. I played a tiny bit of Sea of Stars. What is that? What the fuck is? Oh, I rewatched parts of X-Men because I finished the video. By the time this podcast goes up,
The video, by the way. That's the recommend checking it out.
Skylar heavily recommends checking it out. I like it. I'm pretty happy about it. At least watch the first 2 minutes so you can see the really amazing animation that Cassie and I did together. The reason why it's amazing is because of Cassie, not because of my animation.
I think you should watch the first 2 minutes for the animation. And I think you should watch the last half for all the opinions because they are very heated. And some people on this podcast don't entirely agree, but this is not the time or the place.
The funny thing is, no, this is the time and the place because it's this podcast will come out 2 days exactly after that the X-Men video comes out. Skylar's gripe. I say a lot of things within that second half. That is
White.
statement. I say a lot of things. Skylar's gripe with it is the smallest part of it.
It is. It's not small to
the
me.
guy for a second, and I just say that it isn't like high quality TV, and Skylar is like, "Oh, that's my limit. That's my limit."
Blast. That's right there. I'll let that one slide.
I
Yeah.
can't-
You can shit on the entire industry as a whole, but the second you mention my favorite comfort show, I'm angry. Okay, that's my favorite one.
Hey.
I have a bad day. That's what I put on.
Hey.
Do I want to have a good plot? No, I want a brain rot. I
You
need
feel that
stop.
same way about the Kardashians. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's no.
That's
No,
the exact
no.
same thing
No,
It's-
it's not. They're not as funny. It's
To
not as
to
fun.
you.
Yeah, to everybody
Yeah.
who goes, oh, it's fine. We have 2 different opinions.
Sure.
That's not your comfort show. That's my comfort show.
Yep.
You're wrong. I'm right. It's all good.
It's okay. The last thing I watched was Daredevil, as mentioned previously, and I'm just gonna pick up where I left off an hour ago, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna I hope you guys remember the exact sentence that I stopped at because I'm gonna pick up right there. The beginning, the thing that Chandler mentioned, the thing that was bad that Charlie Cox mentioned, not only does it happen, and I can understand everyone being upset that it happens because it's controversial, but I think that it can be done in a very good way. Not in episode 1, but if you're going to do it in episode 1, that's fine. It could happen. Don't do it within the first 2 minutes because there's no build-up. Everything that could have resulted from that happening was completely diminished the second you did it that early. Because if you're starting this quote-unquote new series, even if it is a season 4 for the previous series, no one is going to have any emotional connection to the event that you do because, one, if you're continuing off of the previous season and you just left off at season 3 and then you start season 4 and you watch that, it makes no sense whatsoever from any angle of it. And on top of that, if you're starting it for the first time, it's supposed to be a big deal, but it means fucking nothing because you don't know anything about any of these characters at all. So it is just such a waste of a possibly good idea, and it is done in the worst way possible. And I want you to know, like, everyone who's watching and thinking I'm upset because I'm a fan of the original Daredevil and I'm like, oh, it's not Daredevil for them to have done this. No, I genuinely think this could have been a really good idea. But as someone who studied film and very much has loved movies since I was born, that scene is so offensive to me. I am upset about it, not because of it happening. I'm upset because it doesn't work cinematically at all.
Damn.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Get your ring out.
That was kind of electric.
And that's just the first 8 minutes of the episode. On top of that, we have to deal with the shitty Trump illusions of them just slapping it in your face that some people don't like him, but some people do. But then he won. Is that a good thing? I don't know, Daredevil. What do you think about it? I don't care. One of the worst episodes of TV I've ever watched. And
How long is it?
it's an hour.
I would like to know. Did they make a pun going, I don't know, I can't see myself in that reality? And then because he's
No, but they did something like that in She-Hulk's. Like, that's close enough, I think. Like, do you guys remember that where he heard someone like whisper something and he goes, he just admitted to it. Don't ask me how I heard that.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah, I did.
Dude, they're just destroying my boy, my baby boy. Literally,
I was so
one of my
excited for this,
favorite
bro.
TV shows ever.
I was so excited for this show.
Me too. I was so excited, especially since Kevin Feige watched it, was like, this is dog shit. We're going to scrap 70% of this. We're going to keep only the good 30% and rework the rest of it. I was like, oh, that's great. I love that they're doing that. No, I don't even want to watch the rest of the show at all.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah.
It's like an episode redeeming whatsoever.
I haven't watched it. I don't want to.
Oh.
It was, after the first 8 minutes, I was so pissed off that I asked my mom for us to watch something else, but she was like, we have to at least finish the first episode. So, like, this is going to sound so embarrassing, and I'm so sorry about that, but, like, if you out there, if you went to college and studied film or know a lot about how movies are made, watch that and try not to get upset. It is so frustrating. But like the rest of the episode, I didn't even sit. I just paced back and forth while watching it because I was like, I'm not jiving with this, especially since like Skylar, you didn't get there, and I know. Chill, did you watch season 3?
Yeah.
It's one of the best seasons of TV show, just straight up.
A minute though. I don't remember much. I just know that. Is it Bullseye?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know he's like the.
And it's so awesome. Him and Fisk are the antagonists, and it just is so well done. If you like that character's character arc, you're gonna hate Daredevil Born Again because that character arc is out the window. What is his character motivation? Who the fuck knows? He's just going willy-nilly now. Love that. My favorite character in the original series completely ruined. Oh, it's so awesome. I really like what Disney is doing to all my favorite stuff.
What's the public reaction so far? Like,
People don't like people. I don't know. I honestly, I've only watched Nando V Movies, his reaction to it, and he gave it a 7 out of 10. And I just disagree. But I also haven't watched the second episode, so I don't know.
I need to look up who the director is of this.
I don't know. Probably a handful of people because it's a TV show, so they're gonna have multiple directors and multiple episodes. And also, they had a shit ton of reshoots. So
Justin Benson and Aaron Moore.
some of those people are people that worked on the original one. But I guess the first attempt at Born Again was so bad that it just infected all of the reshoots and rewriting of it. Whatever. Skylar, whatever. Wait, sorry, fuck, Chandler. Skylar, do your thing.
Yes.
Chandler. What have you been watching?
A couple of things here and there, just the usual. I talked to you all about Karen, that rock climbing game.
Yeah.
I only had the demo, but I beat that. It was very short. Very fun. I'm very excited for the game to actually release, but it probably won't be for a while. It's like one of those like 2025. So it could come December, bro. For all we know, if this year.
Does it not even say like?
Oh, I didn't say
like,
movie news.
what's the other?
Doesn't really. No. Which is a shame. But I don't know. I didn't really watch so much. I can't remember what I know I watched one movie. Aside from that, I don't know what I did this past week. I studied. I'll tell you that. I studied for an exam because that's all I was stressing a little bit. That's probably why I didn't watch anything other than this. But I watched Flow, animated cat film.
How was it? Oh, how was it? I want to know. I actually want to watch it.
I don't know. I think
The second you said that, I was like, this is not going to be a good reaction. This is not a Chandler movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. Although the animation kind of is like
It's made in a blender.
blurry. It's like blurry. It's not really sharp. The detail isn't really sharp. But that also just kind of adds like there's like glare and the sun in the movie and like sunlight, sun rays, all beautiful. Kind of reminds me of like video game quality. Like
That's kind of what it is, yeah.
ray tracing sort of stuff. It was beautiful. But no, not a single word was uttered. Is that a spoiler?
No, that's the problem.
Okay.
of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I actually love the story and following the cat and how it kind of evolves and gains confidence, stuff like that. But it was kind of, it felt boring. It really did feel boring. Like it kind of slow, but it was still beautiful. Very beautiful watch.
I know. If
That's
this
much like-
podcast ever gets really popular, there probably will be people that are going to be like, "That's so Gen Z of him." Oh, that's best animated movie of the years.
Dialogue.
No, I get it. I honestly get
And
it.
it has, that alone has to be entertaining.
I get it. I seriously get that. Like, whenever I heard that it didn't have any dialogue, I thought that's really hard. Like, there's gonna be even if it's done really well, there's gonna be people that don't like it, and that's just kind of the nature of doing something creative like that. I want to say two things real quick. I did pink because they fall in love in the movie. I couldn't really think about what color to do. I tried yellow, but it just looked like I had the lights on.
Glare, no.
And then I forgot. Yeah, no glare. We should do it at exactly 7:00 every single Sunday now. I didn't say a movie news. The last movie news I have is that officially the development of Blade is moving forward.
Yo.
Kevin Feige and Mahershala Ali are finally happy on a script, and Marvel is now just looking for a director. It's still if it goes well, because it hasn't in the past, it's still at least 3 to 4 years away, which is crazy.
Wow. There is like one thing I want to add, but it's to Chandler's movie.
Yeah.
Chandler, how was the music?
Oh
in
yeah,
the movie.
very important.
Like, is it like did any parts like stick out with like really good music or like a really good like undertone or anything like that? Or like the colors in the background? Did they like?
I really forget. I really forget about the music.
That's
I just wanted to know because if like the music was really good, I'm still probably gonna give it a chance.
probably.
But if the music was not, I would be more excited.
I think it definitely added to it. It was just a very beautiful movie. You just got to watch a journey of the cat. And so I'm not that right quick here. Yeah, it was just beautiful. But the animation style was a little weird to adjust to at first. It's not like we liked it at all. That makes sense. By the end of the movie, I loved it. I definitely came around full circle with the animation. Yeah, it just took a while to adjust. Because it felt like at some points I was like, is this like PS2 graphics, kind of like shading and stuff? But no. It took a while to adjust. So yeah.
all right, Chan, you ready?
Okay.
3,
I'm locked in.
2, 1. Sky, what have you been watching? Oh, we nailed it, dude. We nailed it. That's the best one yet. That's the best one yet. All right, Sky, hit it. Let's go.
So I have been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals recently. For those who are caught up on the game, the thing came out. I'm halfway to Lord, not as in I'm at Captain, as in I need like another 3-4 hours until he is Lord. Which is very, very sad on my end, and I'm both proud and not proud at what I've done. I'm caught up. I've watched multiple episodes of Daima. I'm on the episode after The Awakening, which is, if spoiler warning, if you haven't caught up on this part of Daima, he gets Super Saiyan 4, and I have seen that. And I'm at the part where Glorio basically lies to the Wish to I forget her name, but he lies to the evil scientist who wants to use the Wish, and he wishes for Goku and friends to be grown adults again. I'm caught up on Solo Leveling. I just watched the one that released at this recording yesterday, which is episode 22. I think it is, but very good. Apologies if you haven't watched it.
Two things real quick before I like the big hands on Super Saiyan 4.
Me too.
I like the big hands. I like the
I like the redesign overall.
I like the redesign overall. Yes.
Let's clean.
I think black hair looks cooler, but I think red hair makes more sense because of Super Saiyan God. Next thing I want to say is I think the community overreacted an insane amount for Solo Leveling last week whenever he cried and everyone was like, this is the worst.
Good. That should be really good.
Like, why did everyone hate that? That was terrible.
Yeah, that should not have been. That should have been, in my opinion, should have been the highest rated episode.
Yeah, really.
Achieved his goal.
He's not allowed to have emotions.
Yeah, exactly. It was fucking stupid. Whatever.
Yeah, that actually makes me angry.
Okay,
Because
I'm happy.
Exactly what he's been trying to do the entire time. He had a very realistic reaction. His mom has been asleep for 4 years. He thought she was going to die. And he's been doing everything he can to bring her back. And he did. Like, why are they... I'm so sorry.
Love that.
I am mad. I was very mad at the community.
I was
Like, it should have been rated very high.
really dumb.
I think it was my single favorite episode this entire season.
It's one of them.
But-
It's a really good episode. I thought it was really embarrassing that everyone hated that.
Yeah, so I was so mad. I'm still very mad over it. But they followed up, and this episode was really good. So, that's all fine with me. Jan.
Whoa!
Look what you made me do, Chandler. Look what you made me do. And
How does that? How do you do that?
It's only Mac. I think it's only Mac.
Oh, okay.
But the next, like, I think if I do this, I get balloons or something. I saw somebody else do it. Somebody else explained it. I saw somebody else do it, but
I did 2 fingers. Or you did that.
I think it's only 1, 2. I don't know. There's like, if I do this, occasionally it'll give me a balloon.
My professor did that once, and he was so confused.
I think like this is 1, but I don't know. I can't get to do it
Do both.
or something. But I'm still watching One Piece. I am on 1067, so I am within 5 of the entire reason I've been watching this show. I'm within 5. It's very hard to not tell which episode it is because it says
This is
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So very, and it is on the screen whenever I click it.
I know.
So it was very hard to miss. Don't care. I want to see it. I want to see it. I am so ready. I'm still reading Black Clover at the gym occasionally. I almost picked up Baldur's Gate again yesterday because I was like mentally tapped out from playing solo quick play trying to get the thing Lord. Me and Lily started season 5 of Game of Thrones, so still absolutely cruising on that. Is there anything else I've done?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But this upcoming week might be a little lighter. I have a couple exams, so hopefully it's not. If the weather, okay, I guess this is a spoiler. I was hoping to golf by time the next episode drops. I would like to golf once because while the weather is nice.
I don't know.
It's sports.
Yeah, but like,
Sports, and it's technically what I've been doing, what I've been watching,
yeah,
and I'm gonna make myself been golf balls.
You know, the golf.
we'll count that. If you film a TikTok over there, we'll count it.
Well, technically it's what we watching. So if I watch myself hit golf balls, then I watch it.
I guess, but you have to have Caden film you doing a TikTok.
I can't do that. I can send it to you two, but that's it. As far as that's going, it's gonna be Slice City.
No, I'll post it too.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, let's do.
Everybody caught up with the thing. You can see. We'll call it Skylar Slice.
Yeah.
I'll just go crazy and probably hit the person next to me.
Love
But yeah.
All right.
But I believe that's all. I think that is all that I've been watching.
Dude, hell,
Dude.
I actually have literally no idea what next week is. I don't think we have anything in the calendar, so it's game for anyone who has any recommendations. So you guys, viewers, will know whenever we know what next week will be. Everyone have their quarrels out for this episode?
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, badass. Okay. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Check out my X-Men video that came out 2 days ago. I hope the next video is a lot sooner than that one, especially since I've already started working on it, and I do think it's going to be a lot sooner than the X-Men video. I'm not going to put a timeline on it though, because I feel like every time I say something, it always turns out to be wrong. But but other than that, I guess we'll see you guys next week with an undisclosed movie. Maybe as a fun. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a great time.